Hey friends, welcome to Live from the Farm here at the Gardener's Workshop. It's your friend Lisa Mason Ziegler, and we're in for a special, kind of a different Facebook Live today. So it's been kind of hard for people to figure out when we're going live this last few weeks because things are changing, right? The times are changing, it's dark outside, and we're kind of coming out of the new year and the holidays and cloudy brains and everything else, right? So I know that Thursday at 11 isn't the best time for everybody, but I have something really special I want to share with you guys today. And then after I share it, and I'm in a special place too, which y'all have never been in here before. We're in a special place. I have a special something to show you. And then we're going to walk outside and have a look at my cool flower garden. And I will, the weather has been a little crazy, as it always is, but we are so, thanks to you guys, so crazy busy at the warehouse. I literally have not even had time to look at my garden, which is really the way it should be in winter. You really shouldn't have to be doing anything. But I know we're all curious. I did take a nanosecond yesterday and walked out there with an umbrella because it had started to rain to see how my cool flowers are making out and got an overall look. And we're going to go out there and explore and see what the cool flowers look like after this, week of snow and then some cold and then rain and what's going on out there. So if we are just meeting for the first time, welcome. My name is Lisa, and I'm the owner of the Gardener's Workshop, which started out as a flower farm over 2 decades ago and has kind of grown out of control in a lot of different ways. And one of the things that we love doing the most, I feel very strongly that the best guide is a guide that'll go with you through your journey, right? And that's what I feel like my lives are, to whether you're a flower farmer or a gardener or somebody that's thinking about doing either one of those. So this is my way of connecting with folks, and I will do a brief Q&A at the end of this. So if you have a question about something that we're looking at or talking about today, please post it and I'll do my best to answer it for you. And you can learn more about us, the Gardener's Workshop, over at thegardenersworkshop.com. We are an online garden shop and a learning center. And we just offer, so basically we only sell the things that I use. We sell the same seeds that I plant. We don't save seeds. We package them with my information on them and my growing instructions and the same tools that I use. Our learning center is deep and wide. We have a lot of free stuff. We have paid courses that are more cohesive and get everything you need in one spot. So I invite you to check those out. And I also have a podcast, and I want to just say, in case I forget to say it later, we just put out today the replay of my chat yesterday on Clubhouse. It was called Have Faith in Cool Flowers, that we recorded, and it's now just been put into a podcast. So you'll find that on whatever your favorite podcast app is, or you can go to the Gardener's Workshop and it's in the Learning Center. You'll see the blog there and the podcast, and have a listen, because I think that's encouraging for a lot of folks. So that's what we're doing. And I don't stand out here by myself very much. I'm hearing odd noises. I had to look over my shoulder. Tucker is in the house. So last week, I think it was the week before Christmas. I don't even know what week it is now. I was sharing about my strong desire, in addition to helping people grow and garden, is also for us all to support locally owned businesses. That's what I am. That's what you may be, right? And ways to do that. And I shared about my experience visiting a local frame shop who she's been a family friend for a long time. She actually worked there for a couple of decades, and then she had the opportunity to purchase it about 5 or 6 years ago, I think. And I told the story a couple weeks ago of I found some really sacred little gems in our home when I was looking for something else that I thought, why do we have them hidden away? Why do I not get Barb excuse me, Barb is my friend, Barb Hunt, and she owns the shop that's called, and I'm going to tell you the name because I really would appreciate it if you would follow her on Facebook and Instagram, because she's just getting started on the social media scene and she needs local support. The name of the business is The Frame Shop and Gallery. And on the Instagram, it also has NNVA at the end, Newport News, Virginia, because that's where she's located. So I took some items down to her to have a couple of images for her to do for me to frame, and then a couple of keepsakes. And one of those keepsakes is what I decided to have done for Steve, and it was something that is very precious to him. And I'm not going to tell you the whole story today. This will be for another day. But Steve, in his life long ago, was a member of a motorcycle club, a real motorcycle club, y'all. And we're talking about in the late 70s and the early 80s. I mean, they lived together. It was really a special time for Stevie. That, I mean, as clubs are, those people became like his family. And Stevie is one of 3 people that were left living when the club was finally dissolved. And one of the keepsakes that he has is what's called his colors. And that is the vest that, you know, the black leather vest. It gives me goosebumps even talking about this, y'all. It was just so meaningful for him, is why I did this. So it's a black leather vest, and then you earn patches when you're in the club. I mean, this is really serious business. If there was ever a book that I wanted to write a novel about, it's about this life of being in a real, true motorcycle club. So Stevie's colors have been packed away under a bed, vacuum packed, for all these years. And I came across them and thought, you know what? First off, I'm concerned about preserving them. You know, it's leather, they can grow mildew and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, I'm taking it down to Barb. So I had Barb put this, I guess you call it a shadow box, so that he can hang it out here where his Harleys are. And, you know, he could see it. Not that he needs to see it, but to know that, you know, it just brings fond memories, hard memories too, but fond memories. And so that's what I wanted to show you guys today. So I gave it to him Christmas morning, and as I forecasted, he was speechless. It really first really moved him beyond, I'm married to a really tender-hearted man, y'all. Tough as he is. He has got the tenderest heart ever. And he couldn't even hardly take it in at first. And it took him about 3 days. I kept thinking, oh my gosh, I've made a mistake. But he has now hung it out here where I thought he would hang it, in his workshop. As you can see, this is our equipment shed where all of our tractors and equipment and miscellaneous things are. And also one of his 2 Harleys is out here. So I'm going to turn this around. He actually has it hanging up here on the wall, and let y'all have a look. And I just want to say that, you know, why do we keep stuff hidden away? We need to bring out stuff and get it so that we can actually enjoy it and share the memories and the stories. So this is what I gave. Let's see how it looks. Oh, I have to raise this up. And I know the glare is kind of bad. Sorry, the lights do that. So that is, the name of the club was the Free Spirits Motorcycle Club. And the patch on the bottom, which you can't read, it says Newport News, Virginia. And, you know, the good old skull with wings on it. So Barb did an amazing job. I wish I could, there's just no way for me to get it without I can't, if I turn the lights off, there's not enough light in here, I don't think. But so this is hanging out here where his bike is, and Barb did an amazing job. I mean, it fits the vest, you know what I mean? It's very casual, and she just did an excellent job. So if you follow her on Instagram and or Facebook, please comment over there and say, hey, we saw Lisa's husband's motorcycle vest. It's awesome. And that's just encouraging for her. So, you know, sometimes we are asking people to patronize our local businesses, and to not buy the cheap stuff that's in the box store that's comparable to what I'm selling, but yet we do that in other areas of our life. And it's really hard. I mean, it's hard to decide to choose to spend more money on something with a local business, that there might be an alternative. But I will tell you, the work that Barb has done for me, just as an example, she did another keepsake of something that I showed in the Facebook Live a couple weeks ago, and some images. There's no comparison to me buying a frame and a mat and just putting it all together. I mean, it just looks so much nicer and so much classier. And so I think that's the food that I really wanted to share, is that oftentimes we expect people to pay the price that we think our stuff is worth, but yet we don't turn around and do that. We do not practice what we preach. And so I'm just trying to do that in a much more deliberate way now, to be an example to people. And sometimes things aren't as much as you think, especially once you make the connection. And so anyway, so I was just really pleased to finally have a gift to give to Steve that was just so meaningful to him. And so I want a couple other just little housekeeping things that I wanted to say. We did launch a new website at the end of the year, and there's still little bits and pieces that are still being tweaked. Kelly's still working on stuff. I mean, we got so many great new options on our website. I mean, y'all usually just, who knew it was so deep and wide, right? So if you come across something that you are sure is a malfunction, something that you're trying to do, just email the office and say, just wanted to let you know this isn't working or whatever, because sometimes that's what we need for our developers to actually be able to address it. So with that, let's walk outside. So I am going to, I just wanted to remind everybody that we also, I posted a new podcast today, and it's about cool flowers. So check it out, and I'm going to actually turn you around so I can look more of what I'm doing here. Let me, sorry, not much to look at right now, but we just got to get out of this building. All right. So we are going to go down, and it's kind of a good day for filming outside, I think. It's kind of overcast a little bit, and so the challenge that we had this week is a challenge that here we're in the area on the Mid-Atlantic that I live, we often face this challenge, is that we get threats of snow, which means we have to take our row covers down always when a threat of snow is coming. But yet, maybe the snow comes or maybe it doesn't, but really cold temperatures are also coming. So I'll just stand back here for a minute and tell you just a couple things. One thing, thank you guys for commenting with your sunflowers. So we love it when any of our students of any of our online courses, on demand or our big school courses, if you're a student, we love it when you comment with the sunflower emoji. That just IDs you as that person, that you're one of our students, and other people connect with you, so that's really great. So you're looking at the Cool Flower Garden, and you can see the row cover's been a little blown around a little bit. And so what we face here is that oftentimes we get either the threat of snow, and then it doesn't come, and we have really cold temperatures, or worse yet, we get a dusting of snow, which really doesn't provide that blanket of insulation that snow does for our gardens, but yet we have to take our row covers down so we don't smother our flat plants that are underneath there, right? Wait a minute, y'all, I gotta zip my coat back up. It's getting kind of cold here. So that's what happened here this past week. They were calling for snow, so I took my covers down, and we only got a couple of inches at the most, and it was wet snow. And it did cover my garden beds, but then the temperatures went down. I don't know if it's the next day or the next night. I actually walked out, I think it was Tuesday. Tuesday night, they were calling for it to drop down into the lower 20s. And I do have a couple of things out here that, aren't so strong in our zone, but I grow them anyway as a chance. And so I turned the stove off and told Steve, I'm running out there, I'm going to cover up those couple areas. Well, y'all, the row covers were frozen solid. It's not really an option when you get to this point, right? So they've been uncovered all week. And I thought that I'm going to take you out of the tripod. I thought that we would just take a little bit closer look and see who any victims are, if there are some. So these definitely sustained damage. These are Chinese forget-me-nots that really haven't been weeded yet, but they have definitely taken on some cold damage. But they'll be back, right? So I'm just going to keep walking down here. This is Saponaria soapwort, and you can see it's a little bit bigger than I'd like for it to be. I mean, look how long some of these stems are. And they're just laying over, and that's from rain and wet. I was told by Jonathan of Springforth that they, like me, row covers are wonderful, but I try not to overuse them because it's not only great for our plants underneath the row cover, it's great for pests and disease under there too. So they're really resisting using row cover as long as they can. Their saponaria went through 18 degrees without damage. And I have to say that ours looks pretty dadgum good too. So this is, what is this? This looks like agrostemma, which it looks like it did great too. And these are all bachelor buttons. We're growing every color. We have 5 or 6 different mixes that we're actually growing. And so that's them here. They look fantastic. Let me cross over here. Tell you who doesn't look fantastic, but they looked crummy before the cold came, in all honesty. And that is calendula. I mean, those were the puniest seedlings. See them? Some of them are missing. We're getting ready to restart them. They will plant them again in very early spring. This is Anchusa, which is actually a perennial. Nothing's going to kill this. It's a perennial to zone 6. The reason we grow Anchusa as a hardy annual is it's our summer heat that takes it out. They're like delphiniums. Yes, they're perennial somewhere, but they just don't perform very well here, so they did great. This is this is Scabiosis, and you can see it's got a little bit of damage, but it will rebound for sure. And this is all Godicia. So this Godicia was pinched. This was not pinched, and you can see how the stems are just laying down. So we'll work on these. I mean, look how long these stems are. Holy cow. So these are all have to be cut because they're no good laying down like that, and they're not going to straighten up by themselves. They should have been netted, but obviously we can't net, during the winter. So we'll have to cut all that back. And so here is our Lisianthus. Let's get up here where there's not so many leaves. And Lisianthus looks pretty dadgum good. You can see those that had a little elongation, got a little bit of damage, but these guys look great. They're definitely a win. They also need to be weeded. So we have the Lisianthus is looking great. And let's step over here and look at the status. Let's get this row cover off the bed. Status looks completely awesome. This whole bed is status. All the different colors. We sell status now in the solid colors. That is probably one of the most useful fillers that adds bright color. And that's why we decided to offer, in addition to the Seeker mix, we sell the straight colors. And I'm really excited about the light yellow, which is down there. You soon learn after you start growing a lot of flowers and making bouquets. Some of those dark colors are really beautiful, but they are useless in bouquets because they're just too dark. People are looking for bright popping color. All right, so this is a bed of Rudbeckia. We grow a lot of different varieties of Rudbeckia, as you can see here. Rudbeckia is typically winter hardy to zone 5, so it just laughed at that little, 20 degrees doesn't even affect them. So they are looking pretty awesome. And what is this? This is Goldilocks, which is one of my favorites. And that new Cherokee Sunset, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't believe I didn't know about that until now. So this is a bed of, these are the giant poppy pods. And they too, like many of these plants, are a little bit bigger than I'd like for them to be because of the long, extended, warm fall that we had. But they look no more worse for the wear. These will be seriously thinned about mid-February, which will be here in the blink of an eye. And here's the fellas that I'm not sure if they're going to live. This is Billy Balls, Craspedia. And this one will rebound, and many of them will. They really did last year. The tops die back, and there's a lot of weeds in here too, but Craspedia is one of those ones that is really on the edge here. And this is Ami Magus. Look how much damage it's sustained, but they'll grow back. I've got to figure out now, they're calling for low 20s. I think it's for a couple nights from now. I will get my covers up on these guys. And this is Green Mist Ami, and it doesn't look like it's sustained quite as much damage as the Ami Magus. So these are all, this is the kind of stuff, it's like, all right, I would put in my notes on the page that Ami's on, how I start that seed, different ways to do that. I'd put, Green Mist seems to be more hardy than other Amis, and it just helps to know. This bed that looks so beautiful is all feverfew. And of course, it is super winter hardy, so no troubles with feverfew at all. Here's the random ball that came in with one of our bags of leaves. And down here, I haven't looked at these. What is this? This is the Covent Baby's Breath. This is the annual Baby's Breath. You'll find this on our website. And it took the bigger plants that it started to elongate. So I got to stop pointing. It makes the focus screw up. The ones that elongated actually took a little cold damage. Wow, look how great the shorter ones. I think these are going to just kick butt come spring. I'm so excited about them. Any white flower, particularly that it's a filler kind of thing, is going to be really in demand. And this whole area right here, all of these are larger. You may or may not be able to tell that. And they took a lot more damage. And then this is the carnation. I think it's Shibata. I'm not sure. And that just blew off, but look how good they look. They have a little bit of damage. When moisture, like rain comes, plants withstand cold a lot better when they're well hydrated. So, snow and ice, that's why it is so beneficial. And boy, look how tall. Do you think these snaps need to be pinched? I'll have to come out here. So we did 2 plantings, an early and then several weeks later, and you can tell this is the same variety. I think these are all these are all dragons in this bed. So the snaps, they look a little tough, but they will be absolutely fine. Some of these look pretty sad right now. And let's look at down here. All the stems that are down here just waiting to jump into action. So I'll cut that baby deep. There's so many stems down there, y'all. Cut low. The only thing you have to lose from cutting low is that you might have to wait a little bit longer to get more stems. If you cut too high, then you get stems that are too short to be used. So be brave. Cut deep, y'all. Cut deep. Here's a good one. Here's one laying down. Wished I had a pair of clippers out here. I don't. Let's see if I can do this. I can't. I would make the cut like right there. See how close to the ground that is? And all of these little shoots, don't worry about these ones you're throwing away. Far more will come in place of those. Here's some Sweet William that was, I'm sinking, y'all. Sweet William that was planted just not long ago, so it's not very well established. That's one of the, the vulnerable spots when you don't plant on time. They aren't established really, that they aren't equipped to face the cold weather. But if there's anybody that'll pull through, it is Amazon Sweet William. So even the cover crop is kind of laying down out here, and it all just pops right back. And I do want to just walk down here and show you this, and I'm going to look at your questions. Then I have to get myself to the warehouse where there is just lots of stuff to do. Look at this kale. Remember, we were all growing the crane kale. This was the leftovers after we harvested this entire bed. And look how well it has come. Look how beautiful. Those are, individual stems. This is crane ruffles, white, no covers. So this is just a great, for anybody that has an outlet for, Christmas and Thanksgiving that doesn't have houses like me. This is a crop you can potentially grow outdoors, that could last. And who doesn't want that? I'm not much of a fan of any of the pinks because pink is just not a good color in the winter for me, for my customers. But this is usable by everybody for everything. And you can see, look how many were in one cell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They were just packed together because this is the perfect size. And while we're here, we'll look. This is Bells of Ireland that actually reseeded. And so I've decided there's several of them out here. This is where they were planted last year. I'm going to let them go to see what the temperatures do to them. You know what I mean? And here's the saponaria. This is where saponaria was planted last year. The deer are eating it. That's what this is. So sometimes you just really, look at all that kale. You learn a lot, and that's all Ami Magus that reseeded. That's where it was planted last year. So that's a really great experiment to see how they actually hold up. So let me go grab my tripod or I'll forget it. See what questions you guys might have. And I'm not even sure my sister's going to allow me to eat a bite of lunch before I go to the office. Sorry, my finger's right over the camera, isn't it? There's more cover crop. All right, let's go here. And let's see what you got. And no, I haven't started any seeds yet. Hopefully that'll start to happen maybe next week after we get caught up, if that ever happens. All right, so I'll let you look at. Sorry, y'all. I hit the wrong button. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so I see lots of students. Welcome, everybody from all over. Yeah, it's chilly for a lot of people right now. First time thinking about ordering Lysianthus plugs. What two would you recommend for everyday floral arrangements? Well, all of the Lysianthus varieties for cutting would be good. The thing is, if you are growing out in the field, your challenge is getting them tall enough. And if you order them today, they won't be ready to ship for 12 to 16 weeks. That's how long it takes them to grow. So you may be planting them late. I don't know where you are. But we plant outdoors, which is all the planting I do, ABC variety, and any of the colors, whichever your preference. White is always the most popular, and the dark blue or the pink. But your challenge will be planting so late, perhaps, and getting tall enough stems. And the ABCs are so tall to begin with that those would be your best bet. We grew those for many years because of that. Good morning from rainy Oregon, Zone B. Temps are expected to be 52. Yeah, the weather is always crazy. Melanie, I'll be following your friend's business and will definitely support her as I am in Newport News. Yeah, so that's an old frame shop that was in the Hydenwood Shopping Center for many years. And when Christopher Newport University bought the shopping center and upgraded it, they doubled everybody's rent. So she had to move right up the street. And so she doesn't get quite as much walk around traffic where she is now. So I just love Sharon. I mean, she is a gifted frame person. And she and I hope we're going to be working on an awesome project here soon together. But I would recommend it to anybody to explore your local businesses, that kind of stuff that you really would never know about unless somebody told you, right? All right, y'all, I'm just looking to see if there's any. Hello, Kansas. And we just love when our students, we just feel like, like here, April's asking where in North Carolina, people start to connect and find each other. And it's really, really, really helpful. Hey, Lisa, can't find the sunflower. New phone. So, Stacy, at the bottom of where you type your letters, where the keyboard is, there should be a little smiley face, and I think that's your emojis. And then in there is where the sunflower should be, I think. I hate new phones. I hate new devices. Question, will you pinch the Scabby? No, we have never pinched Scabby unless it is laying down and gets too long so it won't grow properly to be netted. Ours have gotten leggy with the warmer than normal weather before the cold. So the only time that I'll pinch stuff like that I don't normally pinch, it's like the Godicia we looked at. When it's laying over like that, you have nothing to do but to cut it back at ground level, right? I mean, like you're cutting it as a cut. That's what I would do. Lisa, do you have apricot status seeds? We do. We have all of the colors of status seed in stock. And we also have the peach colored straw flower mix in stock. And so, we tell people all the time, I mean, we're constantly packing and restocking. I mean, we do that year round. But what happens is sometimes we'll hit a variety that we can't get bulk restocked on, which I do believe is the case on the peach straw flower. We don't have any backup stock right now. So when what we have is gone, we just hope that the new bulk will be available at that point in time. But yes, we do have that. You can visit our store over at thegardenersworkshop.com. My dill and loving a miss took a beating over the weekend. Do I cut them back dead foliage and expect it to come back or pull up the plant? I would not do any pulling of anything in the dead of winter. As we just looked at that Craspedia, the billy balls, they look dead on top, but after my last year's experience, most of them regrew, so I would not do anything. The only time I would do something is if it's really being detrimental to the plant, like that Godicia that has those long stems that I'm going to have to pinch. I'll probably wait until my normal early spring pinching time, which is like mid-February. When we plant Lysianthus in mid-February here in zone 7B, 8A, after we plant the Lizzies, the next job is to then patrol the beds to pinch anything that I want to be pinched or has a problem and needs to be pinched. I would not pull up or abandon anything in the middle of winter because you don't know whether it's really dead or not. So Laura, that what I just said applies to snaps too. My rule on pinching anything that can be pinched is I pinch half the crop. So I learn myself, is it beneficial or not? And the next window to pinch is very early spring, which is about 6 to 8 weeks before your last spring frost, right when it's kind of warmish during the days, but the nights are still cold before the plants really get busy growing. So Mary says, now I know what baby's breath looks like. So this is the annual baby's breath, not the perennial that a lot of people grow. So it's a little bit different, but that's what it looks like. My snaps are, oh, this is Tori. My snaps are so small. They don't look too different after transplanting. I did pinch before I transplanted and no additional growth since planting out. Typically when we pinch before we plant, we like for them to recover from the pinch, meaning we wait for sprouts to come on the transplants before we then shock them again and plant them outside. And if you planted them outside during the cold weather, they're not going to show any signs of growth, and so you'll just have to wait it out, and they'll probably be fine. Kara, and providing the exact feedback so many are in desire of at this time. Thank you, Kara. Tons of reseeded. Yeah, you would never depend on reseeded plants as a commercial grower. You always have to plant new seeds each fall or spring and summer. You would never depend on reseeding, but it's kind of a nice little bonus when you get some. Where does one order Lisianthus plugs? I'm in coastal inland California. Bonnie, so those are for commercial growers. You have to order like 1,200 or Farmer Bailey plugs has smaller numbers than that, but you have to buy vast numbers of them. They're for commercial growers, but growing houses, plant brokers sell them. But if you're a home gardener, I do understand that Park Seed, who sells plants, also sells Lisianthus plugs typically. Elizabeth, you were the only place I could find Uproar Rose zinnia seeds. So worth growing them if you haven't. They are huge and gorgeous, and they are incredibly reproductive. I think people are standoffish because they're a new hybrid, and the seeds are super expensive. But even with that, we still grow them. But there is no other color like them, and they are gorgeous, and they are incredibly productive. When I left yesterday, as far as I know, we are not out of stock on any seeds at this point in time. That won't be the case in the coming weeks. Again, as long as we can get bulk, we can actually restock. Our packers are packing year round. So friends, I have to get to the warehouse because we just still have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of orders that are in line to be picked and packed, and everything that goes along with that. So I just want to first off say Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you so much for your support. You just don't know how much it means to us and our little team of 14 that work so hard to bring you this. And again, I just want to say we are just so behind our mission of guiding you, and we believe that the best guides are those that walk along with you. And so, all right, friends, until we meet again. See, next week I'm going to start doing seed starting Saturdays, but I don't know that it's going to start next week. So you're just going to have to check our schedule for our lives for the next week or two while we get sorted out. And it has been my pleasure, as always, to be here with you guys. So till we meet again, friends, ciao.